Shalom and welcome to the Light to the Nations channel. It's my blessing, my beracha to be with you once again with a new study of the Debar of YaHuWaH in this new video. It's been quite a long time without sharing with you in this channel new studies of the Debar of YaHuWaH, and it's been in my heart for a few weeks already to share this study. And I'm doing it also in a Spanish version because I have been requested from a few people to upload some teachings and some studies in Spanish. So we're trying to do my best in order to share the light of YaHuWaH, share what Allah teach me, what He led me to understand. And this is our purpose, just to share the light of YaHuWaH. I have been always mentioning in the different videos in the past that we are not teachers, we are not scholars or nothing like that. We have just one Rabbi, and this is our Mashiach. We are all brothers, brothers and sisters. So our responsibility is to share. In order to have this feedback, that's the only way that we can grow in knowledge and in wisdom that are coming directly from YaHuWaH. So in this video, I want to share something, as I said, that is being in my heart for a while already. And I think it's a really important topic, and it's the topic that is answering the question that is, who is our brother or who is our sister? And you can think why it's so important to understand this. And it's really important because we can see different teachings, different even mitzvot, different commandments in the word of YaHuWaH that are directly related to our brothers, to our sisters. And when we study the word of YaHuWaH, we see different roles popping up in the different commandments and so on. Just to mention few as an example, we have the roles of the neighbors, we have the role of the strangers, foreigners, the role of a brother, Kohanim, priests, and so on and so on. So without having a clear and a complete understanding of what those roles means and what are the people that related to those roles, it's going to be very difficult for us to understand the teachings and also to understand how to apply the commandments of YaHuWaH in our own lives, in our own experience. So most of you most probably watched a video study I shared a few years ago that was titled Who is My Neighbor? And we went in deep details, navigating in the word of YaHuWaH, just to understand directly from the word of YaHuWaH, who is our neighbor. And the intention today is to do exactly the same. There's no presentation, so I will invite you to take your scriptures and to read along with me. Let's study together what the Debar of YaHuWaH has to teach us about who is our brother and who is our sister. So to begin, I think it's important to reinforce the idea of why so critical to understand the role of a brother. And I will share with you just few examples because we can find in different places throughout the scripture references of our brothers, commandments, and also teachings. So I will share with you a few of them just to make the point and directly note my point, what the Debar of YaHuWaH, the word of YaHuWaH teaches about it. So let's go to the first testimony, and this is in the book of Devarim. It's in the book of Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 23, verse 19 and 20. And it says the following: Do not lend at interest to your brother. Interest of silver, interest of food, or interest of whatever is lent at interest. To a foreigner you lend at interest, but to your brother you do not lend at interest, so that YaHuWaH your Elohim might bless you in all that you put your hand to, in the land which you are entering to possess. So we see here the first example that is a specific commandment, a mitzvah of the command of the Torah of YaHuWaH, that we cannot lend on interest to our brother, and it's making the difference between a brother and a foreigner. That to a brother we cannot lend in interest. We cannot apply any interest in anything that we give to our brothers. And the Torah of YaHuWaH is teaching us that we can apply interest to a foreigner. In the way that I understand, and I'm gonna mention this as well. It's not related to the topic, but it's important to mention that in the way that I understand the chapter 20 is that YaHuWaH is giving us the chance that we can apply interest to a foreigner, but it's not pushing us that we have to do it. This is going to be our decision. What the Torah of YaHuWaH in this commandment is just setting the baseline, setting the floor, that to our brothers we cannot lend on interest. So without understanding who is our brother, how we are going to be able to understand to whom we can apply interest, to whom we cannot apply interest, better said. So this is the first example. Going to the second testimony, we can see it in the same book, in the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy, chapter 15. Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1 to 3. And it says the following. This passage is talking about the Shemitah, is the year of release, every 7 years according to the calendar of YaHuWaH. And it says the following. At the end of every 7 years, you make a release of debts. And this is the word of the release. Every creditor is to release what he has loaned to his neighbor. He does not require it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called the release of YaHuWaH. Of a foreigner, you could require it, but your hand is to release whatever is owed by your brother. If we read the entire passage in context until the verse 12, we see that there's multiple reference in this chapter about a brother. But specifically in these 3 first verses, we see 3 roles. We see the role of a neighbor, we see the role of a brother, and we see a role of a foreigner again. And it's again the Torah of YaHuWaH is setting the baseline that in the year of release we cannot ask in return any debt from our brothers and our neighbor. We can do it with a foreigner if we decide to do it. But YaHuWaH is teaching us that to our neighbor and to our brother, we cannot require it. We need to release it. So, once again, without understanding who is our brother, it's going to be really difficult to apply this in our daily lives and in our own experience. Let's move on, and I will share with you a few examples on the Brit Hadashah. And let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 7. Matthew, chapter 7, verse 3 and 5. And this is our Mashiach, Yahushua, speaking to the crowd. And it says the following. And why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank in your own eye? Or how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye, and see, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eyes. So we see in the words of YaHuWaH referring to this important teaching, this important message about judging between each others, when we need to first analyze our own body, ourselves, how we are doing things, because we are also committing mistakes, and maybe we are trying to judge a brother for something that we are also being wrong. So the point here is that the full concept on the word of YaHuWaH that is related to a brother. So without understanding who is a brother, is going to be really difficult to understand how to apply this to our lives. So moving on, let's check the following passage. This is in the book of 1 Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9 to 11. And here Shaul, Paul, give us a little bit of additional understanding in order to start beginning on who is our brother according to the scripture. And you can read the entire chapter 5 in context in order to understand what Shaul is talking about. But we're going to refer only to the verse 9 to 11. It says the following. And I wrote to you in my letter not to keep company with those who whore. And I certainly did not mean with those of this world who whore, or with the greedy of gain, or swindlers, or idolaters, since then you would need to go out of the world. And I was sharing in this channel in the past the definition of the scripture about what is the world. And the world, how we understand this, is the system of the world, the system that the men and women have been implemented for millennia, and is basically part of the system of the beast. So basically what Shaul is referring here is exactly the same that YaHuWaH was praying for the taught ones, for the disciples, for the Talmidim in Yehohanan, in the book of John, chapter 17, that he was praying to our Father not to take us out of the world, because we are of the world and our inheritance is the earth, but to keep us out of the evil one. So Shaul in this case is explaining and teaching and mentioning exactly the same thing. So not to keep company with those type of people, but he's not referring to the people of the world. And just to mention something in addition here, if we go out of the world and we don't keep company, or we don't reach those people, we're not going to fulfill our purpose to bring light to the nations, to bring the light of YaHuWaH to the world. This is part of our responsibility, being part of Israel, to bring the light of YaHuWaH to the world. Especially in these days that this world is becoming darker and darker. It's our responsibility, our purpose, to bring the light of YaHuWaH to those that are in need of the light, those that currently are in darkness. And we see the perfect examples in YaHuWaH. YaHuWaH was keeping company with sinners, and that was the whole discussion with the Pharisees and so on. For sure, if we see that there's no change on the people, we will see, actually, it's written in the same passage that we are going to read now, there's a different thing. But it's our role, it's our responsibility, and that's why we are part of the people of YaHuWaH, to bring the light to the world. So what is Shaul talking about now that he's making this comment? Let's continue in the verse 11, and it says the following. But now I have written to you not to keep company with anyone called a brother, if he is one who whores, or greedy of gain, or an idolater, or a reviler, or a drunkard, or a swindler, or even to eat with such a one. So when in the full context of the chapter, what Shaul was referring is that we should not keep company with a brother, in quotation mark, that is committing this kind of things. It's not referring to the people of the world. It's referring to the brothers. So in order to understand what Shaul is referring to, we need to understand who is a brother. And we see here that a brother and the people of the world is something different. And we see the same information here in this passage. So let's move on just to show you an additional example, and this is in the book of YaHuWaH Aleph. This is First John. YaHuWaH Aleph, First John, chapter 2, verse 9 and 11. And it says, "The one who says he is in the light and hates his brother is in the darkness until now. The one who loves his brother stays in the light, and there is no stumbling block in him. But the one who hates his brother is in the darkness and walks in the darkness and does not know where he is going, because the darkness has blinded his eyes." So this is a critical passage, because if we have something against our brother, and actually there is an amazing teaching and words from Yahushua, I believe it's in the book of Matthew, that even if we are going to offer something to Yahuwah and we realize that we have something against our brother, we need to go, we need to make things, to fix things with our brother, and then we can go and offer the offering to Yahuwah. And this is exactly what YaHuWaH and John is referring here to. If we hate our brother, we have something against our brother, it means that we are not in the light. And this is so important. That's why it's critical to understand who is our brother. And we see the same thing in the same book, in the book of YaHuWaH Aleph, John, First John, chapter 3, verse 10. And it says, "In this the children of Elohim and the children of the devil are manifest. Everyone not doing righteousness is not of Elohim, neither the one not loving his brother." So we see here two conditions in order to be called children of Elohim. First, doing the righteousness of Yahuwah, the righteousness of the kingdom. If we are not doing righteousness, we are not of Elohim. We are not the children of Elohim, a child of Elohim. And also, the second condition is that we need to love our brothers. If we don't love our brothers, we are not of Elohim. So those are important conditions, and it's part of the new commandments, the new mitzvah that we receive directly from Yahushua, that we need to love each other in the same way that he loved us. So we see here that it's important that we need to understand who is our brother in order to apply this directly to our lives, in our own experiences. So before moving on, what I can share with you is that by reading the word of Yahuwah, we can understand that a brother or a sister, the definition of a brother or a sister is the same definition and the same understanding we have currently when we talk about the bloodline. For sure, if we are talking about the son of our father or the daughter of our father or mother, those are our brothers and sisters too. And we see multiple examples in the word of Yahuwah. Just to mention a few of them, we see the case of Cain and Hebel. We see the case of Esau and Jacob. And also in the Brit Hadashah, we see Andrew and Kepha, Peter. So we see these relationships. So our current understanding about who is our brother and sister in terms of the bloodline is the same thing that the Debar of YaHuWaH is also teaching us. But interesting enough, the understanding of who is our brother has a broader concept, not only related to the bloodline, but the word of Yahuwah, we will see it in a moment, is so specific that is is removing any doubt in our minds in order to understand who is our brother and who is our sister. So let's say before getting to the point and getting directly, not in my words, not on what Juan Carlos is saying, is what the word of YaHuWaH is saying to answer the question of who is our brother. Let's see additional passages, and I find this is so interesting and amazing, because those are the words of our Mashiach, Yahushua, when he talks about the brothers and sisters. So let's go and let's see in the book of Matthew, chapter 23. Matthew chapter 23, verse 8. And it says the following. I mentioned this at the beginning of this video, so it's interesting. It says, "But you do not be called Rabbi, for one is your teacher, the Mashiach, and you are all brothers." So we see the first thing from the words and coming from the mouth of our Mashiach, telling us, and he was speaking to his Talmidim, his disciples, his taught ones. And keep in mind that when we talk about the taught ones, the disciples, we're not referring only to the 12, because there were multiple crowds following Yahushua in order to hear his teachings. And just keep in mind in this miracle of the multiplication of the bread and the fishes. So there were at least 5,000 men hearing the words of YaHuWaH. So when he was talking to a big crowd. And to that crowd, he was saying, you are all brothers. So we see also an example here from our Mashiach, mentioning that all of us, everyone that was hearing his teachings, he was calling that they are all brothers. So this is interesting, because Mashiach even go beyond that, and we will see in this next example. It's in the book of Matthew as well, Matthew chapter 28, verse 10. And this is so amazing, because we see how the word of YaHuWaH, studying it and looking for the witnesses here and there. And remember, we need to look always for 2 or 3 witnesses in order to establish any truth. That's the way that the same word of YaHuWaH teaches, that we need to study the word. We see in front of our eyes so beautiful things coming up, and to see how all, even this teaching that could sound very basic, is so important and so amazing, because it revealed to us a more deeper understanding of our Mashiach as well. So let's go to the chapter 28, and you will understand now in these passages what I was referring to. Let's go to the chapter 28, verse 10. And this was in the moment that Yahushua resurrected. And it says the following. Then Yahushua said to them, he presented to his taught ones, to the 12. Then Yahushua said to them, do not be afraid. Go, report to my brothers to go to Galilee, and they shall see me there. So this is so interesting, because Yahushua presented to his Talmidim, to his taught ones, and he was saying, tell my brothers to go to Galilee, because I'm gonna see them there. So he referred himself as a brother as well. He was part of the same group, and the group that he was referring as brothers, all of you are brothers, he said. He was also becoming a brother in his own words. So this is so interesting, because we see the same word in the testimony of Yehohanan this is the book of John, chapter 20. So it's interesting that Yahushua himself, he's referring about himself as a brother of us. So we see in the book of John, YaHuWaH chapter 20, verse 16 and 17. And it says the following. It's exactly the same resurrection is in the testimony of John. It says, Yahushua said to her, Miriam. She turned and said to him, Rabboni, which means teacher. Yahushua said to her, do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. And listen to this. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, and to my Elohim and your Elohim. So in this testimony, Yahushua is going beyond of calling himself a brother. He's telling Miriam, go to tell my brothers. So he's becoming also a brother of the Talmidim. And this is important for what we will see at the end of this video. But he's also saying, I'm going to my Father and to their Father. So we have the same Father. It's YaHuWaH Eloheinu. So and we have the same Elohim, YaHuWaH Eloheinu, in the words of Yahushua. And this is so amazing because we can connect with different other passages. And just to complement this idea of Yahushua being our brother, let's go to a new testimony. This is in the book of Hebrews, Ivrim, book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 9 to 17. And this passage is so beautiful. You can read it in context. It's talking about Mashiach. And it says the following, but we do see him who was made for a little while lower than the messengers, Yahushua, because of the suffering of death, crowned with esteem and respect, that by the favor of Elohim he should taste death for everyone. This is part of the redemption, as part of the sacrifice of Yahushua HaMashiach for you, for me, for all of us. For it was fitting for him, because of whom all are, and through whom all are, in bringing many sons to esteem, the children of Elohim. We saw what YaHuWaH was speaking that about the two conditions to be children of Elohim. And also we see in the words of Yahushua calling his Father our Father as well, his Elohim our Elohim, and calling us his brothers. Let's continue. To make the prince of their deliverance perfect through suffering. And listen to this in the verse 11. For both he who sets apart and those who are being set apart are all of one, of whom YaHuWaH Eloheinu, for which reason he is not ashamed to call them brothers, because we are part of the same. We are one through Yahushua, we are one with the Father. So that's why he's not ashamed to call us his brothers. It says that verse 12, saying, I shall announce your name to my brothers in the midst of the congregation. I shall sing praise to you. And again, I shall put my trust in him. And again, see, I and the children whom Elohim gave me. Therefore, since the children shared in the flesh and blood, he himself similarly shared in the same, so that by means of his death he might destroy him, having the power of death, that is, the devil, and deliver those who throughout life were held in slavery by fear of death. So it's so amazing. And actually in the 17th it says, so in every way we had to be made like his brothers in order to become a compassionate and trustworthy high priest in matters related to Elohim. So why is this so important? Because there are certain passages in the Torah of YaHuWaH about the role of a melech, a king, and also the role of the prophet that was prophesied by Moshe in the chapters 18 of Deuteronomy, that the melech needs to come from the brothers. It cannot be a foreigner. And the prophet that YaHuWaH promised to raise up, he said that he was going to do it among the brothers. So we see Yahushua HaMashiach calling us his brother, because he was part of the Israel, was part of the bloodline of Israel. So from a bloodline point of view, he was a brother. But there's a more profound understanding about who is our brother just reading these passages, and we will see this in a moment. And then just to complement about this, about the becoming children of Elohim, there is an amazing passage. And it's in the book of Yohanan, chapter 1, verse 12 and 13. This is John, chapter 1, verse 12 and 13. And it says, "But as many as received him, to them he gave the authority to become children of Elohim, to those believing in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of the desire of flesh, nor of the desire of man, but of Elohim." So those that are believing in Yahushua, we get the authority to become children of Elohim. And we see in the same words of the same apostle, the same disciple, Yohanan, the John, in his first letter, that we have these two conditions. We need to love the brothers, and we need to work in righteousness, the righteousness of the kingdom of YaHuWaH, following the steps of Yahushua HaMashiach. So we have the same father, and also we have the same mother, and I was sharing this with you in a video about the last days in the chapter 12, about who is our mother. If you have not watched this video, my invitation is that you can take a look in that, because I went in a great level of details, just using the Debar of YaHuWaH to understand who is our mother. And then just to make the reference and to keep the invitation, in case you have not watched that video, let's go to the book of Hasson. This is the Revelation, chapter 12, verse 17. And this is the chapter of the woman in the wilderness and the sign of the woman in the heaven. And it says in the verse 17, "And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to fight with the remnant of her seed." So it's basically the descendants of this woman are the children of this woman. That's the seed of the woman. "Those guarding the commands of Elohim and possessing the witness of Yahushua Messiah." We see two conditions, but we see here a woman with her children's trying to be persecuted by the dragon, and we see specific conditions and a specific definition for the seed, the children of this woman, is that those one guarding the commandments of YaHuWaH and keeping the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach in our heart. So just the point that I'm making here, we are all brothers with Yahushua. We have the same father, YaHuWaH Elohim, and also we have the same mother. So I invite you to watch that video. That was an amazing study. So if you have not done it, my invitation is for you to do it. So just some in a summary of everything that we have been doing so far. We have these teachings, we have commandments related to our brothers. We have reference from Yahushua HaMashiach in his own words, and also in his the words of his Talmidim about the importance of understanding who is a brother. So how to answer this question? And it's not that difficult to answer. And it's not in my words, it's in the words of Yahushua HaMashiach. So let's go to look for the answer directly in the Debar of YaHuWaH. And this is in the book of Matthew. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 47 to 50. Matthew chapter 12, verse 47 to 50. And the whole context is Yahushua is teaching to a crowd, and he's speaking and teaching to this crowd when what we're going to read is happening. And it says the following in the 47. "And one said to him, 'See, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, seeking to speak with you.' What is this mother and those brothers?" are the bloodline brothers of Yahushua HaMashiach and his physical mother, Miriam. So let's continue in the verse 48. But he answered and said to the one who spoke to him, and this is an interesting question, and actually we went through the study of understanding who is our mother, looking into this same passage. So it's important to mention this point as well. So what's the question? It says, who is my mother and who are my brothers? This is Yahushua making this question. And this is the interesting part. In the 49, it says, and having stretched out his hand, Yahushua stretched his hand toward his taught ones, the Talmidim. He said, see my mother and my brothers. So the message is completely in harmony. Yahushua, after his resurrection, calling his taught ones, his Talmidim, his brothers, and we see here doing it exactly the same, saying, they are my mother and my brothers. And in the 50 says, for whoever, and this is the key, for whoever does the desire of my Father who is in the heavens is my brother and sister and mother. So what's the answer to the question of who is our brother and who is our sister? In the words of Yahushua, not in the words of Juan Carlos, in the words of Yahushua, it says, those whoever does the desire of my Father who is in the heaven. So whomever that the desire, the will of YaHuWaH, is the brother and is the sister of Yahushua. And if we are all brothers of Yahushua, basically is because we are doing the desire and the will of YaHuWaH. So this is the key. Who is our brother is the one doing the desire and the will of YaHuWaH. So it's important to understand what's the desire of YaHuWaH, what's the will of YaHuWaH. That's part of another study. But it's important to understand that the only way to keep in practice all these commandments is understanding that a brother is the one that is doing the will and the desire of YaHuWaH. So going back to the first passage that I was sharing with you, just to take it as an example. The Debar of YaHuWaH teaches that we should not lend on interest to our brother, and we should release the debt of our brothers every 7 years in the year of the Shemitah year. So who is our brother in this context? Are those that are doing the will and the desire of YaHuWaH, nobody else. When we see the example of Shaul in 1 Corinthians, when he says that we should not keep company with a brother, with quotation mark, that is committing all those kind of things, we know that doing the desire of YaHuWaH is that we should refrain and set apart, get out of sin. So basically, in this case, that's why Shaul was saying that we should not keep company with those kind of people. For sure, there is a process that the same scripture is teaching us how to treat those kind of things. That's a difficult situation when we see a brother sinning. But if we see that this is very repetitive, the same scripture is teaching us that we should remove sin from the assembly. So again, that's the way we should apply this, understanding that a brother is the one doing the will and the desire of YaHuWaH. It's much easier to understand how to apply these teachings and how to apply these commandments. And let's look just to make this understanding a little bit more broader. We're going to see the same scripture, but in the testimony of Lucas, because Lucas gives us more detailed information. So let's go to the book of Lucas. This is Luke chapter 8, verse 19 to 21. Lucas chapter 8, verse 19 to 21. And it says the following: and his mother and brothers came to him and were unable to get to him because of the crowd. And it was reported to him, saying, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, wishing to see you. And he answering said to them, and this is the interesting part in the testimony of Lucas. It says, my mother and my brothers are those who are hearing the word of Elohim and doing it. So who is our brother is not only the one that is hearing and understand the word and know the word of YaHuWaH, is also the one that is putting the word of YaHuWaH into practice in their day-to-day, in their own life experience. So we see this connection, and this is important also for the study about what is the desire and what's the will of YaHuWaH, that we see in the testimony of Matyahu, that who is our brother is the one doing the desire of YaHuWaH, and connecting this with the testimony of Lucas, we see that our brother is the one doing, hearing and doing the word of YaHuWaH. What is the word of YaHuWaH? Not only one book, is the entire word of YaHuWaH. So we see the connection between doing the desire of YaHuWaH by hearing and doing the word of YaHuWaH. So it's not difficult to understand this. It's plain text. It's in the word of Yahushua HaMashiach, and it give us the opportunity to have this broader understanding, just to know how to apply these teachings and these commandments, understanding that our brother and our sisters are the ones doing the desire, hearing and doing the word of YaHuWaH. So that's it for this video. I hope that this study will bless you. It's a bless for me to be sharing with you once again in this channel. I think we need to make all our efforts in our day-to-day, especially now that we are living in so difficult times. And there's no doubt in my heart that we are in the last days. The signs are everywhere. So now more than ever, we need to do our utmost effort in order to walk in the way of YaHuWaH, doing the desire of YaHuWaH, and understanding that those that are doing the same, that they are hearing and doing the word of YaHuWaH, we can call them our brothers and our sisters. And it's unto them that the commandments and the teachings of YaHuWaH, specifically that are referring to brothers or sisters, that we need to apply it. So thank you for sharing this time with me. Please share this study with others. It's important that we bring the light of YaHuWaH with more people. So keep me in your prayers. I hope that I'm going to be able to load more studies, maybe short studies, in the near future. So keep me in your prayers, and thank you for watching this study. YaHuWaH be with you all. Shalom.